Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to start your day with Shahzad Khan and Maha Maktoum. Assalamu alaikum Shahzad, I'm so glad you could make it today.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you very much, Ma. You know, when you're the eldest in family, so you obviously have too many other responsibilities.
Way too many. I kind of feel sorry for you sometimes.
So that's what it is. And for all those people who are out there, thank you very much for tuning in. It's time to rise and shine, wake and bake. Let's get up.
By the way, now that you finally said that again, because I'm pretty sure I said this on air, next week you have to bring in some baked goods.
All right, I'll definitely do that. In fact, I'll bring in some more cookies. I think that'll be great. And for all our guests, you know, who come early in the morning and don't get a cup of tea, you know, they might feel a bit agitated too. So for them, I think we're going to keep a pack of cookies as well. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on towards the top stories for this hour.
Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif will inaugurate a supply of 760 megawatts of electricity from first unit of Haveli Bahadur Shah power plant today in Chang.
Wow. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif regrets that enemies of country are busy in conspiracies to halt Pakistan's journey to progress and prosperity.
Pakistan granted full signatory status and membership of the Washington Accord in recognition of its standards in engineering education.
Finance Minister Ishaq Dar says government is focused on achieving higher sustainable and inclusive economic growth after achieving macroeconomic stability.
Okay, and the 12th summit of the G20 countries will begin today in the German city of Hamburg, as 76 police officers have been injured already in clashes with protesters ahead of the summit.
Oh.
Sorry, I read that wrong, because there's no comma.
All right, last but not the least, Pakistani boxer MOHAMMAD WASEEM wins international challenge fight against Valdez of Panama.
Oh, it reminds me of what I was doing. Eat break punching things morning and afternoon. But anyway, now moving on, we have a public service message, and today Shahzad will be giving it to us. Let's see what he has.
I'll try. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so the public service message is a very basic one, and it's all about having those ethics within your own personality and the characteristics that your personality might have. Since it's Friday today, everybody obviously goes to the mosque to pray. I mean, for all those people who do, there's only one thing which we want to request. It's not even a public service message. It's like that this is what you should do. This is what is ethical. Now, what people do is usually the time for the prayers is 1:30 p.m. People leave the offices at 12 and don't come back till 3 or 4 p.m. Please don't do that, because that's not how our economy is going to do better, because of the fact that for all those people who are the workers, who are actually going to bring in business, who are actually going to do all the business development, if you're not going to be around, that means the Friday is probably the start of your weekend. Please don't do that. Please make sure that you give in your 100% when at work, because if, God forbid, they're going to deduct a single penny just because of the fact that you were not at work, just imagine what your expression would be.
Exactly, so that's a great one. Thank you so much for that, Shahzad. But now, moving on to our topic, we have a lot to discuss, and we're going to be discussing something we've had before, and it's about event planning. Now, in Pakistan, you know, everything falls under that umbrella. We all like to say everything's the same. We're very dismissive of things and people's careers and lifestyles and whatnot. But today we're going to make a distinction. We're going to find out what is it exactly and what is actually happening, because we do need an update, because it's been a while.
Exactly, and whenever we talk about event management, Maha, as a matter of fact, you know, globally within universities there are courses for event management and event planning. Now, over here in Pakistan, everything is makeshift, right? Everybody who wakes up one day and think that, you know, there are people who want to spend money on their ideas, they think that they're event managers. But that's not how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk about event management is actually an application of project management. Now, for all those people who've been a part of project management or they've studied that, they might know that, you know, there are too many other things which fall under the category of event management. For example, ceremonies. For example, business development. For example, marketing. For example, relationship building. So there are too many different things. But now, what I want to do today is, with all our guests who are over here.
So you want to do this by yourself?
Well, I think what I want to do is that I want to have a distinction because what happens is that a few of my friends are event managers as well. They love to call themselves event managers. But majority of the times, all they're doing is probably just receiving guests at ceremonies.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to say as well, because after your explanation...
Sorry, friends.
After, it's okay, you haven't named them, thank God. But after your definition of event management, over here we just, I think what the image is, event management here is fashion shows and just launches of things. No, but
and then weddings too. I mean, there are people who call weddings events. I mean, there are.
It's in a life event, yes, but the thing is, there are distinctions between it, like Shahzad said. So let's find out. Let's introduce our guests and let's get the conversation
and before we do that, there's one more interesting thing which I would love to ask, and that is that whenever you're busy with planning an event, obviously you have to seek for so many other permits and venue and whatnot. At each and every step of event management or event planning, you have too many hurdles to face that you cannot even realize how hard it is to be an event manager in Pakistan. And for that particular reason, we do have people, who are in the business, who are part of the industry as well. So we're going to ask all these questions from them, and let's see what do they have to say. So on my right-hand side, a very smart, young, amazing gentleman. And, well, he's been around over here in Islamabad for a longer period of time. And, I don't think that we have met earlier, but today is the first day, but I've heard his name quite a lot within Islamabad as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, with us we have Mr. Fahad Ali Panni, who is an event designer, and the company name is TGI, The Genuine Idea. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam, good morning, how are you?
Absolutely perfect, thank you very much for coming over.
You're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Alongside Mr. Fahad Ali Panni, we've got somebody who's been on the show earlier as well. The name of the company is Media Box, and her name is Shumaila Siddiqui. Hello, how are you? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. I'm fine. I'm just
I
perfectly
love my
fine.
energy, and when I say it's so loud, I feel as if something's going to come back as well.
Okay.
And then when somebody says,
morning.
"Hello, how are you?"
How are you, Shahzad?
Thank you very much.
That's fine.
And alongside Ms. Shumaila Siddiqui, we've got somebody who's a movie executive producer as well. The name of the company is 360 Affairs, and the name is Umar Khalid Anwar. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
Thank you very much for coming over to all of you, and it's a pleasure to have you guys finally. Mr. Fahad Ali Panni, it's nice to see you as well, because people have been introducing to each other, and they've been telling that, oh, have you met this guy? And I was like, man, I haven't met him.
But no, Shahzad did meet before the show, so that's fine. Like, we don't want to give this impression that we're just meeting.
It's perfectly all right.
Yes.
So today we're talking about event management.
Yes.
What is event management, and how do we differentiate in between different events or ceremonies or whatever is going on?
Well, Shahzad, anything which has, if you have...
I'm here as well,
Sorry,
guys.
yeah,
It's like I could completely...
anything that you have, if you have 6 to 8 people coming over for a specified reason, you need someone to present the idea, the theme of that day, and to pamper them.
Okay.
So that's what I would call it to a layperson. Usually people can design a stuff, they can execute it, but they won't be able to pamper you, or they won't be able to carry the rundown of an event.
Okay.
So events in our society have different angles as well, as you just said. Events have primarily always been used for seminars, for PR activities, for doing a product launch, in BTL activities, in the marketing activities. That's the key, where you bring a product or a service near to the people who would like to use it. But events have another side as well, cultural sides. You have weddings, you have birthday parties.
Festivals.
You have festivals. Then you have entertainment events, then you have concerts, you've got fashion shows, you have carnivals. So there's a mix of stuff. There's seminars, conferences, but in actuality, Pakistan does not thrive on conferences that much, or on seminars. People do have seminars and conferences, but they're not as equivalent to any of the international standard. There's no culture for it, basically.
Right.
People usually think we're just wasting our money in a seminar or an exhibition.
Yeah, why are we even doing it?
Yeah, why are we even doing it? So there are different sections, different people, different needs, different thoughts, lots of unprofessionalism.
Okay, amazing. So now what happens is that, we have somebody who's from TGI, we have got somebody who's from Media Box as well, and we've got somebody who's from 360 Affairs. How do you guys manage to compete with each other then? Because I saw you guys walking in together. So, but do you guys distribute that, okay, you do this, and you do that?
We're good friends, and we take advantages from each other.
Alright.
and this is good. That's what we can
No, but
do
there needs to
together
be a
and
core
grow
competency
together.
of every organization.
But you can't just think that you're the only one. You both can't think that you are the
Yeah,
two only
absolutely.
morning show hosts.
Exactly.
So if you meet some other morning show hosts, you should have, a common ground.
Yes,
that,
absolutely.
That we have our own club of morning show hosts.
Our own bandwagon.
Yeah. So
But you are right. Some of the event planners, they think they are the competitors and they just don't want to meet the other
Okay.
event planners.
So let's talk about this
that's
competition.
that's like our society.
Yeah,
If
this
you
is
see another
exactly
one, you say you're so sweet, but the moment they walk away, you're just pulling their leg out.
Okay, so
That
this
happens.
is, let me ask this, because this is what I want to talk about, because normally, people are, you look at the outside world, because we're a globalized village, so you have to. Now, people in the same field, they're also friends, but there's a healthy competition.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
what you're seeing an example.
True.
Like you said, we completely do lack it. You don't have bodies of journalists, meeting every
Yeah.
week, or that you have certain clubs that do it, but it's not widespread. How do you think? Let's get Umar involved. How do you think you guys can establish a more secure environment for event planners?
Well, coming back to what you were saying before, Islamabad is a very small market, and the competition is quite healthy here.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I was just telling Fahad earlier this morning, whenever you get a project in Islamabad, right in next 3-4 days, you'll figure out that there are people with a Parchi and Safaris thing over here, and
Okay.
everyone is like jumping in that we need this project.
Okay.
So that's the main issue especially in Islamabad.
Okay, so how do you tackle this unprofessionalism?
Which is everywhere.
This is everywhere.
Yes, this is
You pick and choose your work, and you let the work filter out as well.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, if someone is, I've spent like over 2 decades in this business, so now I get a vibe of a person as well. So I would rather not waste my time and let them go off and do something else.
All right.
A few years ago, because I'm also a business development consultant, I do television as well, I do a bit of filmmaking as well. So I have the privilege of not choosing every event.
All right.
Okay.
I call myself an event designer. I'll design you an event which is going to last through your memories.
Right.
It's going to make you look presentable. It is going to be customized. And when that comes in,
Yeah.
I'm working only for a niche. So that's how I choose it. But
That-
everybody
that's
can't
great.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm coming now. Let's get down to business. Now, for all those people, all those young kids who are coming up with this enthusiasm that, we can do something different, we can be out of the box, which is very commonly used as well, they cannot afford to do that now.
Well, for being out of the box, if you have a creative idea which is not practically and logically possible, it has no value to
Obviously.
it. First thing first. And in the event business or in the production business, you always have restraints. The first restraint is money. So you might think that I could do this so much good if I had 5 lakh rupees, but you'll be getting 50,000 for it.
Yeah.
And secondly, is the time restraint. So you have to be very out of the box creative, just like we call it in Urdu, which is a jugaad, but a positive jugaad, like creative jugaad.
Yeah.
Then you need to be, you have to have aesthetics. If
Okay.
you don't have aesthetics, you cannot do a good job at the day end, even if you're a dress designer or a jewelry designer. And events require aesthetics as well. You wouldn't be able
Absolutely.
to pour it up nicely.
Okay.
Then you're required to be very patient, coordinated, managed. You should know how to handle multiple resources simultaneously.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're in deep
And for
trouble.
that, I would love to move on to Umar over here because you're an executive producer of a film. Would you mind talking about it now? Because it's under process.
Yeah. Well, we started off with the project about a year back there, and we started with the script. Basically, I wanted to produce a movie which was something to do with the social issues, an art movie actually. But after watching a few Pakistani movies and
Dramas.
being in the cinema, I saw that the audience is not yet ready for the art movies.
Exactly.
So the major thing, first thing is like you need to make money out of the movie as well. So it was a comedy movie which we had to do. So we had a script, we got a script done, and now we are under the production. 20% of the movie is completed, and the next spell is probably planning to be started in somewhere in September.
And the head of event management obviously helps in production as well. I'm going to be very honest. But at times for the producers, it is very hard to tackle the entire crew, and then there are people calling in for checks as well, and they need it to be on time.
Actually, that's the producer's job.
Yeah.
But mostly producers in our country have not worked or assisted any production. If you are not going to work or be a part of a production for a couple of years, you cannot be a good producer.
Exactly.
So a
You
producer
cannot take the
needs to
pressures.
handle everything all around. It's the pressure, it's pampering. You know, pampering is very essential. If I have 30 people sitting here, I need to pamper them. I need to give them water. I need to give them tea. I have to make them feel comfortable. So that comes in, there's a lot of stuff that would come into it.
Okay, well,
And I
let's talk
think
about
that plays a very positive role in business development as well. I mean,
Absolutely.
if somebody comes to your house, I think that's how it is. If you're not even going to offer a cup of tea, they'll be like, bhai, hum nahi aa rahe agli dafa. That's how it is.
Well, you know, if I belong to a village which is 1.5 hours away from Islamabad, the way I've seen it in my village, if there's a wedding, there are set people in the family. Some are going to look after the cooks. Some are going to look after greeting the people. Some are going to look after serving them. Some of them are going to look after the setup. So it's a set task and a set job. People in the villages have been doing it for years. They do it on funerals as well. You don't need to do much. People do it. But in the cities, you lack that because you don't have that strength.
Exactly.
And then that's where an event manager comes in to help you out, set up your day in a theme and in a budget where you look good. Because at the day end, it's your event, you have to look good. If you're not looking good, it's no
Okay,
use.
So let's
let
ask
me
you
ask a
one,
question. Wait, I have to ask a question. I've been trying to ask a question for 3 questions now. So now, I wanted to talk about, because you mentioned a lack of investment. That means that there's a lack of awareness of the importance of event management or having event managers or planners or designers. So Shamaila, tell me, how have you managed to establish yourself so that people come to you? We were talking in the makeup room, you're starting a new awards. I don't know, am I allowed to say it? Okay, so you're starting new things. So that only comes with having people believing in you. How did you get to that point?
In the beginning, it was like awful experience because when I came into the market and I was saying I'm doing a fashion show in Marriott and sorry about the name.
It's okay, everyone's dropping names left, right, and center. I've given up today.
And I was asking for the sponsors and they said, why you are here for the sponsor? How could we believe on you? So first 3-4 years, we have to deliver.
Okay.
First of all, event management, all the event managers and all the organizers, they should have the patience to get the grip and the confidence from the market and the telecom and every sector. Once you deliver properly, nicely, and with the class, then they start believing on you.
Okay.
Otherwise, they will not, because there are so many event management companies and organizers. They are just growing like mushrooms, and the vendors becomes the event planner. And I don't understand. 3 years back, who was fixing my truss and lightings, and suddenly I came to know he's doing a big fashion show. Oh, okay. He's into fashion.
There are
So
quite
this
a
is
lot
where
of
the-
vendors are DJs too these
Okay,
days.
so that means
So you call them, oh yeah, do SP4 bhej do. Oh sir, I can do that too as well.
So even the little money they're going to spend it on people who don't have the experience.
Yes, true,
And that damages the industry.
true.
Exactly.
then how do you
They are
decide who
damaging
to
the
choose?
industry, and they are taking the sponsors and they just run away.
How to
And
choose?
It
How to
affects
choose?
us because we are actually doing this. Lots
are-
of people came to me for the weddings, and I said, I don't want to do the wedding. Weddings are also the
Okay, you
events,
was
but
picky as well.
I'm choosing my own domain.
Domain, yeah.
That's what my question is. Why do people come to you? What is your unique selling point? Let's do it company by company, all right? TGI first, then Media Box, and then 360 Affairs. USP.
Competition.
People would come to me basically knowing that whatever they want, what the idea that they have. Usually people have ideas of their own these days.
Yeah.
You don't need to sell them an idea. You need to translate it into an event and improvise it to the class that they want to have, where they look good, where their guests are going to enjoy, where the objective is going to be met, and they're going to look good, and they are just going to come in well-dressed and be happy and have no hassles.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. You walk in
No
like
hassle.
a king or a queen, it'll be all done.
Or
you
the
will look
electricity is
super.
not working, or the food's not ready.
Yeah,
or there are
that's
more
my
people
headache.
now.
Yeah. So at times I've seen some event managers who are going to set up an event, and when the event starts, you can't find them.
Yes.
And then they say, My job was done. I had to just set this up. So that person has a mentality of a set builder or a set designer.
Exactly.
He's just given you a set, and he says, now run it yourself.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. I just remember one thing which I think is very interesting. So just please correct me if I'm wrong, and that is that half of the time when all of my friends were event managers and they do all of these weddings and whatnot. The best part is that you can see them in the family pictures of all of those family members who were actually a part of the wedding, and then they're dancing in the mehndis as well. Is that the job of the event manager as well?
No.
So yeah,
not
I
at
think
all.
because this is very tricky then, and then you cannot even tell them please.
Because if I'm looking after an event, I won't be able to enjoy it as a guest. I'm a disc jockey as well. I've been DJing since 20 years. If I'm at your house or at a party playing, I can either play or dance. So you can do one thing. You can't do both.
You have to commit. So now, Omar, tell us about you. How do you manage to keep yours different? Because that's the thing, when we're looking at your profiles, and we know it from before, you guys wear different hats, but it falls under the same umbrella. So how do you make sure that you have respect within the market, doing the production, being a photographer, all these things?
Well, I have my limited work. I've been managing events like movie premieres and restaurant cafe launches. That's the major thing what I do. A little bit of corporate sector. So the major thing in movie premieres and cafe launches, it's the PR. People know me from my PR. That's the main issue. Like, people want a good PR, good people coming to the event.
Or pretty woman. And you stand with them and you pose for a picture and then you go, don't eat anything and go back home.
That's very.
I wouldn't say much about it right
Okay.
now. Almost
All right, we'll continue.
We're going for a break soon. You can say that.
Yeah, continue, go.
So, as you said, the glamour, that's the big thing, because the pictures are supposed to be in the social media, in the magazines, so people want good PR, good people around. So that's why I'm
Okay,
here.
so it's about establishing your network within the city.
And it gets very difficult at times as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about all of these
Wait,
difficult things.
before we do, we need to
Yeah.
ask Shamaila, because you've
Media
asked them.
box.
Yeah.
Media box.
Okay, we
I
need to stop
believe-
using the name, guys, now. Seriously.
Do you like the name?
No, yes, I love the name, but
We're all my friends.
it's been, yeah. Continue.
Okay. For me, the class is very important for the event. It's not only the opening of the event, it should be the good closing of the event as well.
Okay,
That
very nice.
everyone should be happy and no panic at the backstage. Everything should be nicely planned. This is what I believe and what I want to deliver.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Wow.
So everyone here is extremely professional. Like, this is the thing, this is what I enjoy, when you're actually having honest discussions about the hurdles and actually the problems that come into it, because that's the only way we're going to improve. But like Shazad said, we're going for a short break now, so join us in a few minutes.
Don't go anywhere. Good morning.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we're discussing the industry, which is event planning, designing, management. And it's a really fascinating conversation because we've been joined by some wonderful guests who are very outspoken. So that's wonderful. So we can ask any
still
questions.
have to check.
Yes.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, before we went towards the break, the only thing which I wanted to ask was that within this event management, there's another side to the picture. And that is that, okay, the event was hassle-free, whatnot, but the vendors you were talking to, they might be stealing, they might be overpricing stuff, or probably the event manager whom you hired might not be telling or sharing the truth as well. So, Mr. Umar, as far as my experience is concerned, or whenever you work with the companies, what people do is, for example, because I do host events, corporate events and whatnot, so they'll tell you that, okay, the client is giving you this much amount of money, and if you want to do, please do it. Eventually, because the client was your friend, he tells you that, I've paid this much amount for you. Why do people do this?
I'm sorry, I didn't get
Okay,
the
so the point is,
That's a long question.
people overprice.
I must
Okay.
say this is an art because I'm hiring you again and again, so I'm giving you so many shows, so I can fix my fixed amount with you.
Yeah.
That I'll give you 50,000
But that's
or
different.
1 lakh. But it is my trick to how to get from the client.
That's what
Sorry.
I'm saying. Is
I
it
mean-
morally correct?
It's morally, ethically not correct.
Yes.
During the years when I've modeled mainstream, and while I was doing that, there were these renowned choreographers who were charging a separate amount to a client and giving us peanuts. So it's genuinely not correct. The simple way of going about it is you can make extra money as well, but this is the whole.
Like service charges.
If I charge an X amount for you, 2,000 rupees, so I should openly say 2,000 because I'm going to charge 15% service charges for it.
Okay.
I can even charge 20% service charges. I can even charge 25%
At least you're
if I'm
saying it,
if I'm
yeah.
that good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I charge 20% service charges. When people ask me why, I say my work is different. I'm giving you creative work. It's all black and white, blah, blah, blah. So I can make more money off you as well through my charges. But that's how our society is, and sadly, that's how people cushion up things. A lot of clients would come up. They would like to give you an event, but they would say, why should I give you 15%? I'll give you 5% service charge.
Yeah.
So where are you going to fill that 10% from? So it's at both ends, but it is unethical.
Okay, so now then the next question is automatically then how do we make sure that those checks and balances are put in place in order to protect the talent as well as the event manager? or
Because
planner?
nobody provides you with receipts and what
Umar.
happened and what didn't.
Usually what we do is, what my company does, we have everything in black and white. Just like Fahad said, if you're hiring some artist, we just have it in black and white that, for example, one singer, we're charging them 200,000 rupees for a concert or for any launch. He would simply ask us, how much do you want from us? So we'll simply tell them,
That's a
we
better
will charge
question.
you 10%.
But there are people that are aware
But
of
there's
this.
another way of going about it as well. If you're a good event manager or designer, what I usually do is, like, if you're going to get an individual for 2,000, under my banner you'll get them for 1,800 because this is my strength.
Because you're friends with them.
Because you know them since a long time, and this is what you can do. Like, for instance, if there's a heavyweight singer, there's singers in Pakistan now who are charging 2.53 million rupees for a concert. So if you have had good experiences with them, you can always tell them that through us they'll charge you a lakh or two less. So that's a way of creating a confidence as well
But
for
then,
people.
yeah, that's
Because
whole
what
network
you said,
building.
I'm so sorry, what you said, the pricing can never hide. Somewhere or the other, you
It's
will
gonna come
someday,
out.
you're going to get to know
Yeah,
who
exactly.
paid who.
Well, see, that's the thing. Wait, that's one thing.
Yeah.
I was trying out the hosting and event thing, right? So I've done one public one. And I'm not going to name any names, but you can see on my social media, it's all there. I've been very open about it. One of the worst experiences, certain promises and certain things. And, it was a big international brand. And post, the benefits that you're supposed to receive, the goodie bag, nothing. And the event was also, half the models didn't turn up. It was just a mess. So after that, I have been so put off that I've just completely shut down that side of it.
And for all those people who are out there, there's one more
Sorry?
thing which I need to
I
say.
was a part of that event.
You were part of it.
I was at the back end. I was experiencing.
Very sorry for
Well,
that.
no,
very
it's
sorry for
fine.
that.
Well, I'm not. No, don't say anything.
So we're
no
having
naming.
an oops moment over here.
After the show.
But there's one
whatever,
more
but
thing
yeah.
which I want to say
But that's
over
the
here.
truth,
Don't
and
you
people
guys
should know the
don't
truth.
you guys offer tea or coffee?
We do. After
Oh,
the show.
After the show.
Yeah,
Yes.
because we start too early.
We
Okay.
tried during the show, but then people got distracted with the teas.
Okay, now, there's one more thing. And now this is what you have to do. You have to guide people how to stay away from all of these type of people. Now, the type, I'm going to explain it. They do not have any event management company. But anyhow, whenever you're going to go talk to somebody that, we need these artists or probably these people for our show, what he's going to do is that he's going to call you.
Or she.
Or she. But, I've got my he experiences. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
why-
but we're trying to keep it neutral. We're not trying
That's
to
why
name
I'm
and
sharing
shame.
that. So they do not have any company, nothing. They don't do any sort of work. By the grace of Allah Almighty, or the only thing which they have is the phone number of that particular person. So what they do is they call the person first. Johnny, show hai. How much will you do? And then he will be like, okay, I can take this much amount. They double the price, call you back
And
again.
their offices are on coffee shops.
Yeah, obviously you can come see me here. You can come see me here. Ab check to bhej de, just give me the check and people will be there. How do you think that people can stay away from these type of people? How do we check whether the company is there or not?
Because it just damages the profession that you guys are in.
One, there's not an easy way. Two, people have a very bad habit in Pakistan. They'll meet you, they'll take your visiting card, they'll never go and see your website.
Yeah.
So it's always good to see where they exist.
Exactly.
Go through their work profile. It gives you an idea what kind of work they're doing. Then the best clients we get in our industry are through referrals.
Okay.
If you've
Word
done
of mouth.
somebody's word of mouth, because if somebody was satisfied, they'll give you a good referral themselves. They'll say, I got my job done and he was good or she was good. So check around. Otherwise, please make a habit. If you take visiting cards from someone, go see the website, see their
exactly.
page,
Profile.
see their profiles. And then at the end of the day, I usually have clients who get very confused. I tell them it's just like there was this girl a few weeks ago. I told her that, you've gone to you've got a wedding joda made as well. So you probably went to 3 shops. You saw 3 things. You liked 2. Then you saw the price, then you knew what your mother or your father has approved, and then you made your choice. So I tell them, just have a look at people's work, see the price, what you want, and just nail it.
Okay.
And then it's your own bad luck or good luck. You can't do more than that.
I think that's the beauty of it as well
There
because
should be a comparison.
There is one
Yeah,
more thing.
but if
People are not believing on receipt system. They just pay and don't get the receipt, and they don't have the data and like proper black and white filings. And this is
So that's the problem,
very bad.
huh?
You know what happens is, it's all again about experiences. I adapted something from the creative agencies. A creative agency, or anyone who's creating something new, if you're designing a vehicle or a campaign, you make a mood board. People who are art students, they know what exactly a mood board is. A mood board is basically pictures and stuff which are used as references or sketches to show the look of the entire campaign or the stuff.
Exactly.
I use a mood board to express what your event is going to look like. There will be pictures of the actual location. This is the entrance. This is what we're going to do, so they can imagine and see a little bit. So if you adopt those things, and if you see someone can do that, then things become easier, because you cannot expect everyone to be that imaginative.
exactly.
exactly.
So
Proposal
if
can show the work.
Yeah.
If the company providing you the proposal of the event, it shows how they will deliver.
Okay, that's brilliant, but it's not obviously an easy job.
But mostly,
Copying.
Shumala is going to agree on that.
Who is Saima?
Mostly people.
Okay, we can do
we
that
after the
later.
show.
Okay, guys, we can do that later.
Saima! All the Saimas. A lot of people,
Forget
a lot
about
of
the
people's
conversation.
proposal is totally about numbers.
Okay.
There's nothing about creativity. There's nothing about production. People don't have production experience. When you were saying, how can a vendor take me for a ride if I know how a sound system is worked and how much it costs?
You've
or
been
how
down
to
the
fix it
line
up?
for 2 decades now. I mean,
But
no, but you have to keep up-
But
yeah.
still,
But
you
the
have to
professionalism can be like,
you have to have that interest to know most of the things.
exactly.
Otherwise, you wouldn't know. If you're just going to keep relying.
Well, then that's how
there
you
you
get
go.
ripped off. And this is how we always say, do your research, guys, before you do anything.
And it is
put
very
money into it.
essential, and they even tell you that, for example, even if you're going to buy something, at least go to 2-3 shops, ask for the price. people over here in Pakistan who have
Comparison.
money do not really ask.
Yeah.
I think you
put it
might have
there.
experienced that part as well. But other
Those are
than
the
that,
best clients.
yeah. But other than
Yes,
that,
best client.
event management is not an easy
But
job.
still, they are not the good
Yeah,
paymasters.
I have to move on.
We have to move on,
Okay,
we're running out of
Mr.
time.
Omar, now what happens is that, you do obviously have to go for permits. You have to ask for different permissions from the government offices. I've heard there are people, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be honest over here, that people do take a bit of money to give you those permits as well. And then there are other people who are your competitors. They try to bring on, or they create
And-
hurdles in between your event.
I just want to add to that is that once the permits have also been given, then they still get into trouble
And
or
then
they
they still
stop the
cancel
event.
it as well.
Yes. So how do you guys, what's going on?
Well, as I told you before, I haven't been to any these kind of events because I have been into movie premieres and
Okay.
cafe launches. So I think.
So you
Shimala
don't
and-
need NOCs for that?
No.
So I think for
I
fashion
also
shows, we
need
do
the
need
NOCs.
NOCs.
No.
Alhamdulillah.
You've never had it?
happened like this.
This-
They cancelled my NOC. In fact, they issued my NOC because in my shows, I always invite the families because my targeted audience are families. Because the point is, there is no creativity, there is no quality entertainment for the families, especially in the Twin Cities. We don't have any such things to bring to go with the kids and to go with my wife or husband to have a look of
I
any
think wife or
event.
husband these days don't want to go together. They're like, oh, you take your own car.
The difference.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of marriage idea you have.
By law, you only need an NOC from the DCO
Yes, I
and the
always take
excise
the NOC.
Okay.
if you are charging something for that event. If it's
Oh.
a paid event.
Okay.
If it's not a paid
You have
event,
to mention
you
in
don't have
the
to have an NOC.
Really?
Application.
Yeah, you don't have to. If you're charging, if it's my wedding, you don't take permissions for a
obviously.
sound or a
Exactly.
singer to
Yeah.
perform on a wedding. It's your personal event. You can do it even on at a
But the
hall.
fashion
But
show-
if you're going to do that wedding on a public location, like on Pir Sohaba, then you'll need an NOC for it.
All right.
But if you're doing an event which you're charging for, it's on a commercial place, then you need those NOCs and all that.
Oh,
So
interesting.
then why do they cancel it then? I
What?
mean, they issue an NOC and then they tell you that, oh, okay, this is not happening.
Probably they don't follow up on the same the good process. There's a simple process. People lack on
don't get them right.
on following an SOP as well in Pakistan.
Exactly.
So maybe because of that,
Because
I
some
don't
of the
do.
companies they hide what they are delivering, and they are like.
I so wanted to say, let's
so
do it
many
turn by
things
turn.
are going there.
No, I just so wanted to say that, let's do it turn by turn. That'll
Yeah.
look a bit
Yeah.
nicer as well. So now, for all those people who want to start an event management company, one by one, give them whatever pieces of advice you want to give. Look
Let's start-
straight into the
and let's
camera.
start with
talk to the
Umar.
kids.
Lots of
Yeah,
Let's start with
start
Umar.
with
Yeah,
Umar.
let's start from that side.
Okay. I would say that's one thing which I always say. If you have the passion of doing something, do that. Don't just jump into something which is if one of my friends is doing, he's making good money out of it, so I can do the same thing. Don't do that.
Okay.
If you have the passion, go for it.
Okay, great.
All right, Shimala.
Shimala.
I'm agree, 100% agree.
No,
with
no, you
him.
have to be different today.
Because I think you did that last time as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't.
No, I agree because if you have patience and plus passion,
Okay,
both
patience
of the
and
things.
passion.
Because since when I started, like 2 years, I couldn't make money from my events. Then I built up my confidence to my clients. Then now I started taking my money and starting from the events.
Okay,
So patience is very important.
All right, amazing.
great.
Mr. Pani.
Don't come into this business if you think anybody can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, it's not like
Two, if your daddy's got a lot of money, put it somewhere else. Three, work with someone who's a known production individual, understand what production is, then become a producer. Dime a dozen producers who don't know anything, won't take you anywhere far. Patience, hard work, those things can come themselves with the experience.
Amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. It's been
You're
an
most
absolute
welcome.
pleasure having you on this show. And, I've learned a lot today.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. So basically, from the things that I've picked out is that you need to do your research when you're getting involved with event planning. Look, like Fahad said, look at their websites, do that research. And also, if you're looking to start a career in this, there's immediate gratification that we're always looking for. That's not with everyone wants to be famous, everyone wants to be in the spotlight, everyone wants to be in the middle, the top. So it's going to take time. And like Shimala said, You have to have patience, and success doesn't just come overnight. It takes a lot of hard work. And
Exactly.
hard work.
And when for the very first time when I was on television, I thought that it's going to be an overnight thing, and tomorrow there will be billboards everywhere as well. Please make sure that in life you look forward to what you are suitable for.
Yeah.
If you are suitable for example, why do I have to be an event manager if I can be there hosting a show? See, so that's my role to
I
play.
can host,
So
but
please
it's
make
okay.
sure that you know your role in your life and then do accordingly. That's what it
Exactly.
is.
And now let's quickly move on to the fruit of the day, because for a few days we haven't done it, and today it is.
Coconut.
So the benefits of coconut. It's
Khopra
tasty.
कहते हैं जी इसको उर्दू में. And it regulates thyroid function,
It helps improve your brain function
maintains body mass,
and stimulates your immunity.
keeps heart healthy.
It helps improve your digestion.
It's full of energy.
It helps for glowing skin,
It is rich in fiber.
and it tastes really good. It's true.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, don't forget to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of,
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a G.
on Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
And this amazing repeat is going to be at
11:05 p.m. in the evening today at night time, because everyone always asks when.
So till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.